I believe one of the best ways we can meet the needs around us is to give to our local church. You know, sometimes people have the mistaken notion that all we do when we give to the church is help the pastor. Well, you do that, and I thank you for it. But it goes so much further. Some people think, well, all we do is, maintain the building, and that's a good thing. Because if we don't maintain the building, we don't minister to 107 children who come to preschool every week here. Man, that's ministering to people's needs. But it goes beyond even that. This past week, because this church joined together with 10 other churches and just giving $50. 10 churches gave $50 and a ramp was built for a person in need this week in our community. This week, when you give to the church, you look at our missions budget, you'll see things like the Women's Center. So you're supporting the work of a crisis pregnancy center. You support Buff when he goes to Daytona and ministers to people who would most likely never darken the door of a church until they come to know Christ through ministries like Buff's. But if you look at our church, in our budget, we also support the work of the Cabarrus Baptist Association. So guess what? This week, because of your generous giving to the church, it helped the work of the Sharing House, and every month, some 100 families who don't have enough food to put on their table receive food. Because of generous giving to the church, people receive Christian counseling whose insurance doesn't cover counseling. And if it did, they would go to a secular counselor who would give them secular advice. But because they're able to go to a Christian counselor, they can hear what the Word of God has to say. We meet needs in this community. We meet needs across the state, because if you look at our budget, you're going to see things like the cooperative program. That money goes right now, at this point, you are meeting the needs of nearly 1,000 orphans across the state of North Carolina through the Baptist Children's Homes that your giving supports. How many of you could say right now, I could by myself support 1,000 orphans? You can't, but you're supporting 1,000 orphans right now. Do you realize there is a foster care crisis in North Carolina? Did you know that your giving is supporting the work of the Baptist Children's Home, who are now training Christian people to become foster parents, so that you are right now helping to solve that crisis? And by the way, if you want to become a foster parent, you can become a foster parent through the Baptist Children's Home, and you can bring Christ into kids' lives who probably would never heard it before. And because you're working through the Baptist Children's Home, your caseworker comes from Christians, so that you report to them and not really reporting to the state. Did you know you're doing that? You do now. Isn't that awesome? Not only that, you are helping senior adults across the state of North Carolina. Your giving to this church supports a call center where senior adults who are in need can make a phone call, and the Baptist Aging Ministry will help churches find churches and ministries that will help them meet the need of a senior adult across the state of North Carolina. Not only that, not only are you supporting orphans here in North Carolina, if you look at our budget, we support Agape Royal Ministries. They run orphanages in India. So right now you're supporting orphans in India when you give generously to the church. Not only that, Agape Royal Ministries trains pastors who will go throughout the country of India to plant churches, not only in India, but Sri Lanka and Myanmar and other countries around it. Not only that, last year through your giving, a part of what we give every month goes to the International Mission Board, where you are supporting over 3,000 missionaries. How many of you on your own could support one missionary for a year? Right now it costs, I think they told me at a meeting the other week, it costs about $100,000 to keep a missionary on the field. And that's not just, we have 3,000 missionaries, but there's an additional 5,000 children who go along with them. And it costs that because you got to provide, when our missionaries go, they don't have to raise money. It provides fully for them everything they need, their insurance, everything, and helps provide all the resources they need to minister. And last year, 879,798 people heard the gospel. And 116,192 came to faith in Jesus Christ and were baptized. You see, when God's people become generous, it meets needs not only where they are, but around the world.